Lindy, welcome to the show. We are honored to have you. You've had an absolutely wild last 24 hours. There are a lot of people who don't, on the left, who don't want you to be on this program and don't want you to be speaking truth, whether it's here, or Fox News, or Sean Ryan's show. And so we just say thank you. Thank you for engaging in just honesty and truth.
Benny, I want to thank you. Just hearing what you said, I want to cry. I haven't slept. I just want to cry, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I've actually admired you from afar for a number of years now. I'd love to see you crushing it every single day. And yeah, thank you so much for having faith in me and giving me this chance to speak with your fan base.
Well, I mean, everyone was very interested in hearing your story, and every single time it seems like you sort of shatter a false narrative that is out there about the 2024 election and what actually happened. And since you were in the building, and since you were there, you have obviously great authority to speak on these things. I'm very sorry to hear that you've been losing sleep. Maybe we can start with that. Can you explain the circumstances that are causing you to lose sleep right now, Lindy?
Benny, I'm not actually sure if the producer sent along the text that I shared with her, but last night I was actually going to go for a run to clear my mind, but then I got a text. It's actually so complex. It's the same lawyer that I once fought against who tried to kick me off the ballot exactly 10 years ago when I was running for Congress. This is the same lawyer who wanted to essentially destroy my dream of running for Congress. He succeeded 10 years ago. And then 10 years later, he sends me a text saying that he's going to send a cease and desist if I don't shut up, basically. And I don't want to identify him and possibly get myself in hotter water than I already am. But yeah, it's just caused me significant anxiety. It's like, what did someone say? Courage isn't not having fear, it's having the fear and doing it anyway. So I'm just trying to go, the only way out of this is through, right? So I'm just trying to steamroll my way through the angst. Not angst, just the fear.
So what you've just told us here is bombshell. So there
I'm sorry if it's nonsensical.
There are individuals within the apparatus attempting to protect the Democrat Party that are now legally threatening you for speaking truth?
And I called him immediately because we know each other, and I asked him like what part of what I said was untrue. So we broke it down into pieces, and every single thing I said was true. He just didn't want it mashed together and presented to an audience in a digestible fashion, you know?
So someone's attempting to legally harass you.
He did. It was an attempt. He did.
So now the party is legally harassing you, or individuals that are protecting of the party, legally harassing you for just saying true things about the 2024 election.
Yeah. And after we spoke, it became clear that he wasn't going to send the letter because what I said was true. He just didn't want it said. And yeah, Benny, I think I'm going to take a few days just to escape this world because it's really just so much.
Wow.
And I was just texting someone that I love. I was like, I need you to understand what this is costing me. I don't really care if the world knows. I just need you to know that this is not easy. It's not, people call me a grifter. I want to be clear one more time. No one paid me to raise money for Biden or Harris. Donors donate. With all due respect, do people understand English? Right? I give when donors, it's like Elon Musk, he gave $250 million. He wasn't taking from Trump. He didn't take money from Trump. Donors donate. I wasn't paid to do any of that. I wasn't paid to expose their corruption. Benny, you're not paying me now. So like, this is all because it's the right thing to do. I'm not compensated in any way. In fact, I lost everything on the Democratic side.
So, Lindy, while this comes as a massive shock, for the last 4 years, we've been covering lawfare against President Trump, and people suing Trump and coming after him legally and attempting to destroy. So this does seem like a used tactic that often happens inside of these circles, and we're incredibly sorry that this is happening to you. It's horrifying and it's disgusting. We stand against it, and obviously we have your back. And what an awful thing to do to somebody who maybe we can pivot to what your roles in the 2024 election. You were a fundraiser for Kamala Harris. You worked with the DNC and Joe Biden. That was your official position?
Yeah, I served in a number of positions at the DNC actually over the years. This has been a decade-long experience. And I just want to, you got to take responsibility. I should have known sooner. I just didn't see it. I just did not see it. I grew up in a democratic world and very liberal. Can you see that I live in Philadelphia?
It's beautiful,
It's just
actually.
completely blue. There are no Republicans here. The voter registration, I think, is like 1 to 8 or 1 to 7. So it wasn't an option for me. And I just didn't see it. I should have. I'm sorry. Now that I have, everything makes sense. It's just, I was speaking to someone and, the Chinese Communist Party killed my great-grandfather. And I realize now that the Democratic Party has adopted many of the tactics that the communists use, which is violent excommunication, the discrediting, the destroying. They will do everything. They will defame you to the ends of the earth. Why did it take me 10 plus years to realize this? I think a lot of it is actually branding. And I was like, it's blue. They purport to care about people. I didn't realize that a lot of it just mimics the Communist Party that my family fled from.
Wow. And now that's happening in short order to you. They're now using those tactics against you for simply speaking the truth. I want to get into that, but I just still can't really fathom. All you're doing is saying true things about what happened in 2024, and they're threatening you and trying to silence you and excommunicate you.
It's been going on for months. Every day since November, I've woken up and braced myself for the next avalanche of abuse. My notifications are off, so I only it's just really hard. I try not to read any comments. It's hard, and I've lost all my friends. They turned out to be fake, but I lost all my friends on that side. People that I've done so much for over the years. People text and call me and shame me, like people that I thought were friends. Like, how could you? It's the right thing to do.
I don't understand, because especially after a loss, and if you're somebody who is on the right side, if you're somebody who's a Republican, you experience massive, catastrophic landslide election losses, right, over the last 20 years. Everyone saw it, right? And it was a requirement when that happens is the ability to criticize your own party. We do this constantly on the show. We criticize Republicans. We criticize Republican leaders. We talk about what's smart and what's not. And nobody comes after us for doing that, right? I think that's like it's implied that you must be able to critique and see the problems. And from a distance, that seems like all you were doing with the Democrat Party was saying, here's how we could have done it better, right?
No, because it goes against their narrative that the American people are racist and sexist. It's the only thing they can say. They attack everyone for being racist and sexist. Have you noticed it's all about their woke fest, their DEI narrative? Everyone hail Goddess Kamala. She's untouchable. You can't criticize her. You can't point out that $2.5 billion is essentially set on fire. I raised millions of that. It's just I don't know, Benny. I never imagined that my life would take this turn. I never envisioned it would be this way. I never even thought I would be leaving the party so soon. But the DNC chair actually called me out. He attacked me personally. This could have gone so many different ways. He could have called me. These people have my number. They could have just called me. They could have talked to me personally. No, he sicked his far left influencers on me. They defamed me. And I just want to say one thing, right? The party of DEI, like kumbaya, racial justice warriors, all of a sudden, because I dare to criticize their queen, Kamala, I'm now a Chinese spy. I'm a spy for the regime that murdered my family in cold blood. Am I allowed to curse on here?
Please. Yeah.
Give me a fucking break. Like, seriously? It makes me sick to my stomach. I would fall on the sword for America. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to shout from the mountaintops that I love America? I would do anything for this country. How dare you say that? How dare you? It's just, I'm shaking. I'm just so upset by that. And so they were the racists all along. And you know what's worse? Sure, let's be honest, there are bigots on both sides of the aisle, but at least with Republicans, they're very forthright with you. They are who they are, right? With Democrats, they pretend to love everyone. They pretend to embrace diversity, but that's just a charade. It's a complete sham. The racism is simmering and boiling underneath, and all they need is some excuse. And I gave them that excuse. And now that's why they're calling for me, an American through and through. My blood bleeds red, white, and blue. They're calling for me to be deported, what, to Philadelphia? Where?
We'll take you in Florida.
Oh, I actually would love to go to Florida.
We'd love it. I mean, listen, you're wearing the right color. You love
Benny,
you get
everything
the sun.
I do is intentional. This is not by accident.
There you go. It's great. We'd love to have you down here. Might I recommend Tampa? It's a wonderful city.
I actually love Tampa. Yeah, I have. Yeah, I do.
So that's my personal pitch. You're welcome to come down here, but on a more, I guess, if I'm talking about where I live personally, I live personally on a street with a number of Cubans, right? A couple of Black Americans, and they're my friends, and they support Trump. The Cuban population down here supports Trump like crazy, but there is this real unbelievable undertone of sick racism that is always emanates from the left in their DMs whenever they post something nice about Trump, from Hispanic populations, also from Black Americans. That I'm telling you, the abuse to these individuals who are Black and support Trump, or who are Hispanic and support Trump, you should go check their DMs. You go open up their phone. It is hideous and it is unspeakable, and it comes from the left. And it really, you're right. It does bubble right up under the surface as soon as you go against the party.
It's more treacherous because they pretend to be good people. It's just unbelievable. And oh man, and you saw this past weekend, they had their woke fest. They didn't learn a single thing. They didn't learn a damn thing. They reelected 50% of their leadership, and their DNC vice chair wants to abolish ICE. Yeah, okay, that's a great idea.
David Hogg.
Exactly. He's skinnier than I am, which says a lot. But and then he wants to defund the police. Come on. And I'm speaking as a naturalized immigrant, by the way. My family and I came here the right way. That is the way it should be. No one should be jumping the line or storming the southern border. Why is it suddenly racist? So it's racist to say that, but it's not racist to call me a Chinese spy and a cunt and a whore and everything. I'm sorry they call me everything under the sun. If you know anything about me, you would know I'm the most, in terms of morals, I'm the most boring person ever. I don't even drink alcohol. I'm like a Christian conservative. That's how I grew up. For them to call me things, it's just so despicable and so off base.
I'd like to say it's unbelievable. Everything from the lawfare threats to the name calling, but I've seen it for the better part of the last decade, and I've seen this in behavior, and we've been covering it. So it actually isn't unbelievable. It's actually very in line with a party that has become quite pagan. And become quite filled with hate and anger.
And they have so much hatred and anger towards religion itself. You know, they call God Sky Daddy. All right, I don't know if you've seen that. It's just everything. And I think the reason why they care so much about their party and they want to destroy anyone who dares to criticize them is that The Democratic Party for them is their temple. It's their religion. They have no other religion. This is it. The DNC is their sanctuary. So anyone who dares to chip away at that temple must be annihilated. And unfortunately, they're trying to do that to me, but it's just, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's it was something that we often talk about on this channel, is that these people need to find God, and they need to stop assuming that Barack Obama is God or that Kamala Harris, right, is queen. And you're going to be very, very disappointed if you try and impart upon a corrupt political party the nature of God, or use that as your church. You're gonna have a very miserable life.
Benny, I couldn't agree more. And I've been wearing this necklace for 15 years. It's kind of my way of being myself in a party that's not anything like me. I've been through, regardless it's raining, I wear it everywhere I go, and it's just my way of holding on to my faith. And this whole ordeal has strengthened my faith.
It's a cross.
It's a cross. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah.
Yep. Can see.
In every photo, you can see it going back like more than a decade. It's just, this is me.
So, listening to you talk now, I just couldn't imagine what the 2024 election was like for you. Can we go through a couple of top line items that I just
whatever you need?
Yeah.
I'm not protecting anybody anymore.
Multiple celebrities have come forward saying that they were never paid anything by the DNC for their endorsements. Everyone from Beyonce to Oprah to Cardi B. We have a supercut, actually, of every one of them claiming, I didn't, get paid. Is that true? Given
Absolutely
the fact that
not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Benny, come on. Like, this is just, all of them have production companies. So the money goes to their companies, but who owns the companies? They do. And Oprah is the most obvious example. But yeah, every one of them was reimbursed. You know what they could have done? These people are millionaires or billionaires. They could have paid for those quote unquote production costs out of their own pocket. But no, they took money from the American people, hardworking Americans. And the Democratic Party was basically grifting off everyday Americans through $10 to $15 donations, sometimes recurring through Act Blue, which has obviously been under a cloud of misconduct as well. It's just, if Oprah really cared so much about Kamala Harris, why couldn't she just pay for the production costs and the salaries herself instead of taking $2 million from the campaign?
So this video right here of Lizzo on a private jet, getting on a very expensive private jet here. Was this paid for by the DNC? Was this paid for with donor dollars?
Was this March 28th? Do you know the date on here? Is it around March 28th? Oh, okay.
October.
Interesting.
October. This is when Lizzo went and did an event with Kamala Harris.
Because she also did an event for Joe Biden on March 28th. I was there. And so I'm wondering, I think, she might have been paid twice for both times. But a lot of the money, you bring up a really good point, right? They talk about how they're the party working people. So much of that money went to 5-star hotels, to private jets, to fancy restaurants, to all this stuff. So how is it supposed to resonate with American people?
She's already incredibly rich. Oprah's a billionaire. Oprah's worth $4 billion. There's no reason why Oprah needs, and we can put up the actual receipts here. You can see the payments. It's millions of dollars that was paid to Oprah.
There's actually $1 million missing here.
Really?
Yeah, maybe it's supposed to be $2 million. I'm not. Yeah, it's more than this.
I know that these can be incomplete.
Yeah, or maybe it takes a while for the FEC to reflect all the payments, but
yeah, the reporting was that it was around $2.5 million that went to Oprah, who, again, is already a billionaire. She's a billionaire 4 times over. And it really does beg the question, like, is this all a grift? Right?
Oh, it absolutely is. I want everyone to know that the campaign raised about $1 billion. The super PAC raised about $1 billion, $2.5 billion in total. Half of the $1 billion that went to the campaign just went to 4 well-connected Democratic firms, including, as we all know, Bully Pulpit International. And who runs these firms? It's Obama World and the consultants. It's the same group of people. They fail upwards. They move from one campaign to the next, and they make so much money. A lot of these people, I don't want to name, I've had enough abuse for the day, but like there are certain really well-known Obama figures who are on their third mansion in Malibu, California. It doesn't take a lot of research to figure out who I'm talking about. These people have gotten so rich. And it doesn't matter. I want people to understand it doesn't matter if Kamala wins or not. They still make a killing. In fact, they might even make more. Like I remember here in Philadelphia, 2 weeks before, I haven't said this on here yet, but 2 weeks before the election, we had a dinner at the Ritz-Carlton. Governor Shapiro was the keynote speaker. This has nothing to do with him. He was fine. But Kamala Harris campaign staffers were telling us that we would win 3 to 4 battleground states, that we were poised to win. We learned after the election that all of that was just a lie because apparently their internal polling never had her up. So they were telling donors a different story. They were milking us for every single penny, not for Kamala, not for the American people, but for themselves.
So they were lying to donors to ultimately line their pockets, because if you think it's going to be a very close race and it's just, we're just inches away, then you're going to donate more, and that gives more money to the consultants. Every dollar donated, I mean, I've lived in DC, I know how this works. Every dollar donated, very little of it actually goes to the actual ad or to the yard sign or the door knocker. A lot of it is pocketed along the way by corrupt political institutions.
Exactly. And I want everyone to know, in case they don't know, that the best way to get rich, the fastest way, is to befriend one of these candidates and work for a TV ad firm. They make so much money. Candidates spend hundreds of millions of dollars on these TV ads, and who gets a substantial portion? Not you or me. The TV ad consultants who happen to be friends with the candidate. They make so much money. And often their ads are so shitty, and where they should be putting up the ads, they don't. Kamala Harris should have responded to the trans ad, the one that alleges that she funds gender reassignment surgery for prisoners. Who wants a president who funds that? I certainly don't. But they didn't respond to that. It was political malpractice. But it also points to the trans insanity. That's a whole different topic. But it's just.
So you're saying that are you saying, was it all fake? I mean, I guess you have to take a step back and say, was like Joe Biden dropping out, was this just about fleecing Democrat donors for more money? Because with Kamala, you could probably raise more money and pump some excitement in. Like, was it all fake? They knew they knew you were going to lose. They knew it was going to be a lost cause. So it was just about like hoovering up cash and stealing more money from Democrat donors.
Denny, let me just say, on July 13th, that was the day, right? In Butler.
Yeah.
On July 13th, I was getting texts from people around the country. The election's over. Trump essentially wins. Like, how do you beat someone like that? The way that he handled the assassination attempt was just majestic. It was like picture perfect. So after that point, I think it's just like the guy became almost like mythical. You can't beat him. But in terms of Biden, the money just dried up. I remember just sitting on my sofa and talking to staffers. They had nothing to do because the donors completely closed their wallets. Wow. But with Harris, the spigot turned back on. It was much easier. Just to give you a reference point, it took me a year to raise $1 million for Biden. A year. That's a really long time. It took me days to raise several millions for her. Wow. So it was, the delta between the two was substantial.
So it was a total grift. And did you ever get a read that, like, this was all fake, right? That we're paying celebrities. Who's the number one paid celebrity? Do you know? Do you have access to that?
The thing is, we didn't know any of this before election day. We weren't privy to the reports. They kept it from us. You think that we would be giving money if we knew our money was wasted like this? My parents gave. My family owned real estate. We donated to church. My family's Christian, so we have a church. We wouldn't have done any of that had we known that the money would be spent this way. Wow. So people ask why I didn't bring it up earlier. How could I possibly know? I never in my wildest dreams would have imagined that they would be dispersing our hard-earned money this way. It didn't even occur to me that celebrities who, these weren't endorsements. They were essentially paid ads. It wasn't from the kindness of their hearts.
Beyonce, was it $10 million? I think.
And she didn't even sing. I'm sorry, that's such a huge letdown. And you saw that Kamala Harris was booed afterwards. The same thing happened to the DNC months before, and they didn't learn a thing. You can't trot Beyonce out or pretend that you're going to have her if she doesn't perform. We don't really care about her speech, with all due respect. I mean, do you? Do you want to hear her pontificate?
No.
Exactly.
I don't want to hear any celebrity. I certainly don't want to hear what Eminem has to say, right? To support Liz Cheney. It's like utterly fraudulent. The entire thing's just been broken. So what you're saying is all these celebrities, from Lizzo to Eminem to Cardi B to Beyonce and Oprah, that they're all frauds and that they didn't actually believe any of this. They were just being paid to dance like a puppet.
All you need to know, all you need to look at is Obama yucking it up with Trump like they were best friends at Jimmy Carter's funeral. The same dude who's reeling against him on the stage just days before, weeks before. That's all you need to know. The same guy who he called a fashion, all sorts of names, like the end of democracy, an existential threat. And next thing you know, they're like chummy.
And according to the lip readers, Obama, first thing he says is, "I knew you'd win." So it backs up perfectly what you're saying. It backs up exactly what you're saying.
Benny, I felt like I was going through the motions towards the end of the campaign and just hoping that, I can't believe I'm articulating this, but given everything that's happened to me this past year, I was hoping that conservatives would win. And I felt this is the result that I wanted. Now I feel liberated for the first time in my life to just tell the truth, that men are men, women are women, that men shouldn't play women's sports, that DEI and woke are just insane, that we should have borders, that the Roman Empire disintegrated largely because of porous borders. We have to learn from history here.
Yes. So, yeah, it does seem incredibly fraudulent. You're seeing the images that you were talking about on the screen right now. Barack Obama, who called Trump a fascist and the greatest threat to democracy, like having a great time with Hitler, right? With orange Hitler. He's like sitting here laughing. It's like so funny.
Suddenly Hitler has a lot of friends.
That's right. Yeah. And great jokes, great jokes. So Kamala Harris, speaking of jokes, Kamala Harris is now teasing running again for office. Yesterday, she did a press conference where she said she's very excited to be linking back up with her home community here in California. And many people are speculating that it's going to be, a run for California governor. What do you know about Kamala Harris? I mean, do you believe that she's the right person to continue to run for office?
Benny, that's a joke, right?
I mean, we'll put up the headline.
Oh my goodness!
No,
all right.
So walking through a Lakers game, we got footage. She walks through a Lakers game. Nobody even wants a selfie. It's like amazing. Trump walked through a professional sports game.
And you'd be mobbed, with selfie requests.
Yeah.
So for those who don't follow California politics closely, her good friend is currently the front runner for the governor's race. So if she were to run, she would have to basically stab her friend in the back. We will just see. The best thing to happen to our country, actually, is for her to run again, because she's just going to get clobbered by Vance or whoever is going to run in 2028. Honestly, for the sake of our republic, she should run.
It doesn't seem like the Democrat Party is in a great place. I mean, we laughed a lot at the DNC convention. It was pretty embarrassing. Here's what we were talking about with Kamala Harris walking through the Lakers game. Nobody even stopping for a selfie. I mean,
oh my gosh,
so insulting. It's like nobody even stops for like a selfie. Wow, yikes, ouch. It's like the party seems to be in a really, really tough spot. What's your take on the status of the DNC? I'm thrilled.
I couldn't be happier.
What's the status of this party? Because boy, it seemed like a real struggle session at the DNC convention. I mean, it's really quite cringe. They're all cringe. Like, a lot of this stuff is cringe, right? On the Republican side too. But whoa, like I've never seen a party so utterly out of touch with the American, I mean, truly like tripling down on things that the country rejected.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Benny, did you see how the DNC chair was struggling to articulate the gender rules that they had? How they needed someone who was not a gender or whatever. I don't even know what they were saying.
Yeah,
It was so
that's right.
absurd. But like, do they not understand that the American people hate all that? We rejected it. We don't want any of that. Okay. It's sickening. I don't want to be a part of that. I'm so glad I got out of there. But anyway, and then this is the same dude, the same dude who just weeks after election day said we should double down on identity politics. Are you kidding me? This woke shit is why you got into this position. But honestly, for the sake of our republic, please keep going. Just you keep doing what you're doing. Like, you're doing great, sweetheart. Just like keep doing what you're doing. So maybe we shouldn't point out the faults. Maybe we should just let them be.
I mean, right? It's an old Napoleon line, I guess, that goes like, "Don't interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake." Yeah, I mean, like after what's happened, I guess there really is no argument. They've lost so much credibility, and for instance, what happened with Kamala Harris when nobody voted for her. I mean, that must have been like a real panic moment, right? Where it's like, nobody votes for Kamala Harris and she doesn't win a primary. Was that like the plan all along? Like what? Like, and now they're screaming about how Elon Musk is not elected. Nobody elected him. Well, no one at the DNC voted for Kamala to be the nominee, like at all. There wasn't a primary.
Right. You want to know the total number of votes that she got for that? 0. Exactly. No one voted for her. And you know who else no one voted for? The cabal of senior advisors who ran our country for the last 4 years. Yeah. I was on the Sean Ryan show and I listed them out. These were the people. No one's ever heard of them. They are unknown individuals. I didn't name the names. And they were the ones spearheading the most powerful nation in human history. There was no accountability. It's just, and unfortunately, Kamala Harris is part of that conspiracy. She again and again told the American people that Biden was fine, that he's, a genius behind closed doors, that he was running circles around, top advisors. Like, really? The other day when I was speaking with him, he asked me, he said, "Tell your husband I said hi." Benny, we just met, but I don't have a husband.
That's what Joe Biden said to you?
That's what Joe Biden said to me. And I just nodded.
Really?
Yeah, so it's just like so emblematic of like where he is right now. And I have doctor friends who I used to would bring to events with me, and one of them even diagnosed him with Parkinson's.
Wow.
She's had decades of experience, and she just says that he exhibits all the signs.
I mean, that does seem like the single greatest cover-up potentially in American history, with catastrophic national security consequences and consequences for the nation, and it's a total embarrassment, and it's hard, as an American to actually watch it because it's humiliating for all of us. But it's like Kamala wasn't. When you see these unedited Kamala interviews that are now dropping, right? Like, it's like not like she was a ton better. Did you ever interact with Kamala?
Oh, all the time. Yeah. And actually, I'm trying to be completely real with you.
Sure.
A part of me, it hurts because I know she's somewhere thinking like, what the fuck, Lindy? These are people that I've been around for, much of my life. This is really hard for me to do. I've been banned and exiled from everything, by the way. Yeah, she was, I do want to say that on a personal level, she was always kind to me, but this is not about her relationship with me. This is about our country. Yeah. It's much bigger than that. It's really such a shame. And I also want to point out, those allegations against her husband, who pretends to be a wife husband, a girl dad.
Male feminist, right.
Right. And the mainstream media just covered it up. Even at that time, it's like, what is going on? Complete and utter silence. No one wanted to bring it up. And
so, that does seem very strange to do when you are defending women, right? Like, wouldn't that be, you'd assume that if you're the party that defends women and women's rights, that you'd not allow like the abuser guy to be the first gentleman. It's not very gentlemanly.
Absolutely. And I've obviously thought about this so much over the past couple months. This is a pattern of the mainstream media colluding with the Biden White House or with the left, for favorable coverage. Like, where was the laptop story? And I still have Democrats to the day attacking me for thinking that it's a legitimate concern. Even the Washington Post corroborated elements of this story.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess, maybe I just want to talk like nexus point here and then future. What is it that finally broke you and made you say, I can't deal with this anymore, right? I can't be a part of this broken and fraudulent system. I can't be a part of the lies any longer.
I think I mentally left around July, around the debate. I was there with Biden the night of the debate. I was with him a few minutes afterwards.
Wow.
In Georgia. Also, just,
what was that like? I mean, like, we all saw the footage of Jill saying you answered every question.
Oh my gosh, I was there in the front row.
It's like, what? Like, is he 3? Like, is he get a gold star?
Benny, what people don't know is that there was an emergency meeting the following day. We were all at the Ritz-Carlton, like all the Biden people were at the Ritz-Carlton in Atlanta, Georgia. There was an emergency meeting, and Jennifer O'Malley Dillon was basically telling us not to believe our own lying eyes. Like, we didn't just see what we saw. Donors were crying on the way home on the shuttle. The room went cold. We all knew what was happening. And I didn't sleep that night again. And I remember just like being in utter shock with donors. We were in a state of complete disbelief because we were told and again that he was not like this. And Obama actually injected life support into the situation by his tweet. This could have ended much sooner, but Obama, it was probably a mistake. He said, we all had bad nights. Do you remember that tweet?
Yep, of course.
A few hours afterwards. So it was like an artificial life support. But people were just completely shocked. But there have been certain events in my own life. I've been assaulted on the streets of Philadelphia, Democratic controlled city, multiple times just for standing there, for the crime of standing there. And just, people that I love are also conservative. And obviously you want to, when you love somebody, you want to agree with them. This has been a years long rightward shift, and I've been conservative. I'm of Asian heritage. We're family oriented. We follow the law. We want strong borders. And the Democratic Party has lurched so far to the left that I've been stranded out here. So, and I also have to admit, every night for the past year, I've been reading the New York Post for some reason and realizing that I happen to agree with a lot of that stuff. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, I feel free for the first time in my life. I'm exhausted and sleep deprived. Yes, but I'm free.
You'll find the America First movement. You'll find the America First movement is like happy and can take a joke and can laugh at itself. It's pretty warm-hearted. And if you go to a MAGA rally, as some left-wing influencers have done, you'll find that like people are kind and are genuine and are happy and are salty and are good-hearted and will clap you on the back. And if you're even if you're wearing a Biden shirt, like people laugh, and be, oh, you're an American too, like that.
Benny, can I just say, to your point, I've gotten thousands of messages in the past day. Like, I don't know how people found my email, but I read through every single message. I think I got one negative email that was from a Democrat. You're totally right. The avalanche of love and support and healing has just been unbelievable. My mom, who's been concerned for my life because she actually gets my death threats, I send them all to her and tell her, Mama, you don't have to worry about it. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Yeah.
In conclusion here, are you going to be moving out of Philadelphia? Are you gonna come to Florida? You gonna look at you gonna link up with JD Vance? I mean, what you've had.
I'm already thinking. I just linked up with Nicole Shanahan.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
She was just on the program. She's amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah, she's actually so sweet. But the RNC already recruited me months ago. I raised money for the inauguration. The thing about my donors is that they're not ideological. They're not left wing. They're mostly. I used to work for Morgan Stanley. A lot of my donors are like finance based or in the business world. They don't care about he, she, or whatever the pronoun shit is. They just want a strong country. They want America to prosper, honestly, because if America prospers, they do too. Yes, so I'm taking my donors with me. Like, fuck the DNC. The RNC is going to benefit from the Democrats' loss. So, yeah, I'm going to be helping Republicans already. I've been in, Casey Crosby, the RNC co-chair, is such a sweetheart. She's amazing. So I've been in touch with her. I've already offered my help. And I'm just going to raise money for the people who are actually take care of our country. America's the best, and there's no shame in saying America first. There's no shame in saying that. We should be putting our people first. It's a no-brainer.
You get chills having these kind of conversations because God works in mysterious ways, and what man intends for evil, God intends for good, and the truth is the light. And those that reside in darkness are kind of doomed to fail. I guess as a closing shot here, we know what you think of Trump and what you think of this country. Who's in charge of what's the path forward? Is Obama in charge? Was Obama in charge the whole time? Like, is that it? Is that all that's left?
You would not believe, Benny. I kid you not. I was on my way to do the Sean Ryan show.
Yeah.
And someone calls me, a Democratic donor, one of the biggest Democratic donors who've hosted Biden twice herself, called me at 3:30 a.m. in the morning saying that people are so pissed at Obama and that the entire party is in meltdown mode. Because people are keenly aware that the people who made the most money are the Obama consultants. Wow. And who was helicoptered in after Biden dropped out? A whole slew of Obama people like David Plouffe, et cetera. Yep. And so I think Obama, his reputation has taken a beating as a result of 2024. Mm-hmm. Biden is, doing his thing. So, and then Kamala is flirting with a run in 2026 or even a run for president in 2028. And I can go through, and I have, Benny. I went through every single person on the Democratic side. Not a single one has the talent or the capacity to take on the Republican Party. They just don't. Think about it. At this point in the 2004-2008 cycle, Obama had already given his DNC speech in 2004. We knew he was going to run in 2008. There is nobody now on the horizon who can do this. We are done with their pronoun nonsense, with their open borders, pandemonium. We are done with their wasteful spending. We're just done. We're done with their shrill shrieking in confirmation hearings, that which backfired, by the way. So we're just done with that.
There's always AOC,
Oh my God. Oh my God. She and I actually we've had disputes. So I'm
not AOC.
Not a fan.
Woo. All right. AOC versus JD Vance. Okay. I got it. Locked in 2028. And a really fascinating and inspiring conversation. It's, wonderful to see, obviously, the movements that are happening right now. It's a changed political landscape. We live in a totally different country than I've lived in. It's a changed in time. It's not the same country as it was for the last 30 years. It's a totally different nation, and it's a better nation. It's getting better exponentially and quickly. And so
it is the greatest nation on earth, and I am done apologizing for it. We should be damn proud to be here. I am so proud and thankful to be American. I'm done. If you hate our country so much, please leave. Stop shitting on America. And so Benny, one last thing I'll say.
Please.
48 hours ago, speaking with you was not on my bingo card. It's the beauty of America that we connected like this and that you invited me. It's just extraordinary. I've seen you from afar for a number of years now, and I've always admired you. A part of me, I'm so proud and just excited to be here with you today. Thank you for giving me this chance.
We're honored. We hope that you're back all the time. We'll make our own segment. Maybe next time you can play piano. I mean, we have these beautiful images of you playing piano here that you posted on your X. Here you go. Let's pop that up. Look at this beautiful piano. I don't know what you were playing here, but goodness.
Nocturne Chopin. Chopin nocturnes will heal any. Music is just the balm for the soul. Music is everything. It truly is. Actually, I'm sorry. This is actually the last thing. I've been listening to so much Hillsong. Do you listen to Hillsong?
Oh, yes.
And Oceans.
Yes.
In particular, especially during this period, it's been so hard for me. And every night's the last thing I do. I just listen to Hillsong or like songs like "'Tis So Sweet." It really reminds me that everything's going to be okay. And I have a King James version of the Bible that's like falling apart on my kitchen counter. But every night I do read it, and it's going to be okay, Benny. It's going to be okay.
Yes, it will be. We'll be obviously supporting you, and our entire audience has just eaten this up and loved it. The chat's just melted down. You're going to get a lot of new followers, a lot of love. Here's the X account, please. Lindy Li, 346,000 followers. Hasn't dropped an album yet with the piano, but we hope so. All right, might get a feature on the next Hillsong album. And in the words of Jill Biden, you answered every question.
I knew all the answers. Oh my gosh!
Look at her go!
I did such a great job.
This is what we do this for all of our guests on the stream. You answered every question.
Oh my gosh! Because
this is how normal people act.
Better in person. Oh my god, that's amazing.
Oh, so sorry that you had to RIP your eardrums if you were actually in the room for this.
Yeah.
Follow Lindy Li. Who knows? Based on her avatar, maybe the next White House press secretary. We are supporters of you. You have a lot of nothing but love from our show. It's been an honor speaking with you today.
Benny Johnson, you are an institution. I'm crying. I'm sorry. This is the first time I cried ever, like in public. You are amazing. I haven't slept, but I don't feel that way. You've changed my physical dynamic, which is incredible. But now I think I can finally sleep for the first time in days because you've calmed my soul down. So thank you so much. And I'm sorry that my hair is in disarray, but it's been a week.
Nothing but love, Lindy, and we very much look forward to the next chapter. Godspeed.
Thank you so much, Benny. You are the best.